it's not just the capital of Arizona, it's also a plant. Let's talk about Phoenix. What's up, fellow plant enthusiasts? My name is Dylan and this is Bane's Botanicals. Today we're going to be talking about Phoenix. Now this is an unexpected entry on our houseplant care saga. I had not initially intended to cover Phoenix just because it's not necessarily a palm you see a lot. I did actually grab this one at a grocery store and it was only 20 bucks and it's a pretty good size. As you can see, I mean, not bad for 20 bucks because palms take a long time to grow, so when you can find them for a good price, I don't know. I thought, well, I might as well just go and do a video on it. But Phoenix is a unique genus of houseplants. It's a unique palm. And when you first look at it, you may think, well, it kind of just looks like a lot of other palms. I mean, is it a Ravinia? Is it a Chamaedorea? Is it a Dipsis? I mean, what's the difference? Well, there's a couple of ways you can tell. Number one, the foliage tends to be a little bit lacier. And when I say lacy, it's a little thinner, it's a little daintier. Don't let that fool you though. It is still a fairly hardy palm. But it just looks fuller than, like Ravinia doesn't look full at all, right? It just has big fronds leaves that come out of the, come out of the base and everything. But this is definitely different. This is a fuller looking plant. And the dangerous part of this plant is going to be right on the bottom here. We can kind of see these things poking out. You guys can probably see them on the video. I just can't quite see them on my phone. But these will actually stab you if you're not careful. And I've heard tell of people actually getting like infections from these. I'm not saying that they're poisonous necessarily or that they're like dangerous in the strictest sense, but it's just one of those things you have to be cautious of. No different than being cautious. This is right in my face. No difference than being cautious of like owning a cactus. I mean, a cactus can stab you and make you bleed and cause injury. So you just have to exercise care. It's no different than this. It's just one of those things that unless you are actively like looking for those, you may be reaching in here not realizing these are there, and they are. So just be careful. This one is ready to be repotted. I actually haven't had a chance to repot it yet. I'm going to, but it does have a lot of nice looking roots up here, and yeah, I'm kind of excited to see what I can do with it. This is the second one I've owned. Now the first one I lost when I moved into our house that we're currently in a year ago. I feel bad because the thing actually put up with quite a bit of neglect during the move and it just didn't make it. But I'm glad that I was able to replace it. Now these are also called date palms. You'll hear them called that because they do come from dates. We don't really think of palms as providing fruit other than coconuts, but really this would eventually fruit and you could eat the fruit. Obviously it's not going to do that indoors and it will probably never reach that level of maturity indoors, but it's still kind of neat. Now I've heard of people trying to grow these from actual dates, and I'm almost certain that Dragonite Spam, one of my followers, has probably tried to do this if he's not doing it right now. You probably can do it, but it would take a very long time just because palms do grow very slowly. And that is why some of the more exotic species of palm are so expensive, because they just take a long time to grow. Let's talk about, here is the taxonomy information for Phoenix. And as you see, we are in the family Ericaceae, which means this is a true palm. All of the true palms are in the family Ericaceae. If it's not an Ericaceae, it's not a palm. So sago plant and ponytail plant, those are not palms. They are completely different things from palms. Let's see, what palms have we talked about? I think this is the 9th one, because we've done Chamaedorea, Dipsis, Hawea, Livistonia, Licuala, Ravinia, Rhapis, Trachycarpus, and now this, Phoenix. So, palms are something that you can really get into collecting. It can get expensive, and some palms are demanding with their care, so just kind of do the research. Because they are all in different genera, they're not quite going to have the same care as, say, species within the same genus will. That being said, let's get into the care. This is a palm, so it does like bright indirect light. Almost every palm likes bright indirect light. There are two exceptions. One of them is Rhapis, doesn't mind low light, and Hawea, or however we decided to say it, the Kintia palm, does not like direct light. I know this because I burned a couple leaves on mine, but it's still doing well. This one likes sun. So you can probably acclimate it during the summer to be outside, and it should do fine. Like I said, you do have to do that acclimation period though, so just be aware of that. Don't just stick it out in the sun because you might fry it. As far as watering goes, it does need regular watering to kind of tie in with the soil. I use a kind of fast draining succulent soil for my palms so that they drain well, but they don't stay wet for too long. Because think about being in the tropics and it rains, but then it dries out quick. That's kind of what you're trying to replicate. You're trying to make sure that they're getting watered frequently enough, but also not staying wet for too long. Unlike something like a fern or a calathea, which prefers to stay consistently moist. Where are we at? Humidity, it does like humidity. I mean, it comes from a tropical environment. It benefits from that extra humidity, especially during the wintertime. It would not hurt to have a humidifier going or to do the pebble tray method. A plant this size, though, would probably be, you probably do better with a humidifier just because that puts out more humidity. And then fertilizing, you can just fertilize it regularly during the summer and spring, and then during the growing season, and then not at all during the dormant season, late fall, winter, early spring. And when you're fertilizing, be careful. You don't want to over-fertilize these plants. The foliage can be sensitive to fertilizer. It can also be sensitive to salt. And one care tip that I make sure I put in all my videos about palms is that you want to make sure that you flush these out maybe once a season. So just kind of let the water run through the pot. Just let it run for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, and just make sure that we're getting all of those salt and mineral deposits out of the soil. It's especially true if you use tap water to water. Just so you don't have any issues with like brown tips. I mean, palms generally do get brown tips anyway. I mean, this one has some brown tips just because we can't perfectly replicate what their environment should be. And even in nature, they get brown tips. I mean, if you have too many sunny days and not quite enough rain, they're gonna dry out just a little bit. So that's normal, so don't worry about that. Have I missed anything about the care? We talked about the salt, make sure you flush it. Pests. Palms tend to get pests. It's just something they do. They tend to get spider mites. I had one that got scale once too. It's kind of the perfect little environment for spider mites just to get in there and make a home. That being said, just keep it showered regularly. Maybe every couple of weeks, stick it in the bathtub and just shower it off. And just make sure that you're just being proactive about it. Because spider mites, they don't like to be wet. They like plants that are dry and stressed out. So if you're taking care of your plant, you're making sure that it's sprayed off and everything, you shouldn't have a problem with spider mites. If you do, you can use an insecticide. Just be aware that, like I said, since palms are sensitive to things like fertilizer and salt sometimes, they can also be sensitive to pesticides, home pesticides, I should say, for houseplants. So just maybe do a little test area and make sure that there's no adverse reactions, and then you should be good. I almost just stabbed myself on one of those. Can you believe that? I'm so that's another reason why I wasn't sure about buying one of these again, because I'm clumsy sometimes. I'll just stab my damn self. But yeah. Have you guys had phoenix palms yourselves, and what was your experience with them? Let me know in the comments. I love reading your guys' comments. I've missed that so much while I was kind of gone. But yeah, hope you guys are doing well. I look forward to our next live stream together, and I look forward to making more videos for you guys. Let me know if there's anything you guys want to see. Thank you so much for your likes and subscribes and everything. It means so much to me. And until the next video, I will see you guys very soon. Thank you.